Hello friends, I'm George, the nice smelling gentleman. Welcome back to my channel guys, and welcome back to yet another episode of my fragrance challenge called 300 different scents in 300 days. I hope that all of you guys are doing good. Today's episode of the challenge we're going to cover days 92 to 98. I started off this week with a scent from the brand called Rituals. Came in this tiny little cute looking 15 milliliter bottle size that was actually part of a bigger gift set. Now this fragrance here is a very likable and sort of a very versatile scent that's a very nice clone of Chanel's Allure Homme. It's spicy, it's woody, you got some creamy sandalwood, you got some patchouli, you got some sweetness from a cardamom, from an amber note, from a vanilla note. There's some powderness from a tonka bean note, a nice amount of spiciness from a cardamom note. All in all, as I said, a very nice and cheap alternative to Allure Homme from Chanel. Performance here is about average, nothing spectacular, but all in all the scent is really likable. Now to be honest with you, I don't know if I would have ever bought a full bottle of this fragrance with my own money, but since I received this as a gift and as a part of a gift set, I gave it a nice wearing in Monday of this week, and I can say that the scent is actually very likable. For day 93 of the challenge, I went with a fragrance from the house of Calvin Klein called Reveal for Men. A fragrance that comes in a really interesting shaped bottle, and this is a real hidden gem of a fragrance in my opinion. At this point I think this has been discontinued, but the scent here is very interesting and let's call it unusual. It has very interesting notes. There's a melon note, there's a brandy note, there's a sweet pear note. There's also, I think, sort of the main note that distinguishes this from a lot of the other designer scents is an interesting agave note in this fragrance. You also get some sweetness from amber, from tonka bean. A very interesting fragrance all in all that has a sort of quite a unique scent profile and really nice performance as well, well above average. And usually this fragrance is also very cheap as long as you can find it, because I think as I said at this point this has been discontinued. But if that those notes sound interesting to you, and that especially that agave note sounds interesting to you, definitely check out CK Reveal for Men. For day 94 of the challenge I went with one of the newer Lattafa fragrances, one of the newer Lattafa beasts that were just recently released on the markets. And of course I'm talking about the newest flanker to the original Khamrah, the Khamrah Qahwa. Very interesting scent that Lattafa have come up with in this fragrance. You got all the same players like with the original fragrance, the dates, the praline, the cinnamon, the vanilla, the tonka bean, all that sweetness, but Lattafa have added an interesting coffee note to this one, to Qahwa especially, which makes quite a bit of a difference, especially in the opening of this fragrance. This thing, at least so far, seems more intense compared to the original scent, and also seems to be a beast of a performer. Like with the original, super sweet, but with a nice amount of sort of bitterness in the opening of this fragrance. Comes luxuriously packaged. All in all, a fantastic fragrance that I'm still testing out, but probably in the next couple of days I'll do my full review. This was my scent of the day for day 94 of the challenge. For day 95 of the challenge I went with a fragrance from the house of Guess called Guess 1981 Los Angeles. This is a sort of a clone, or a slight alternative to Versace Eros, the EDT, especially the original. You got a sweet plum note, you got some black pepper with this one, you got mint, you got ginger, you got on the dry down, you got vanilla, amber, tonka bean. As I said, a really interesting take on the Versace Eros DNA. Very well done. You get pretty much the same amount of sweetness, the same amount of youthfulness out of this fragrance. What this lacks is the performance compared to the to the Versace, to the original scent. This is sort of a moderate performing fragrance, but still this can be found very, very cheap usually, and all in all this can be a nice substitute for the original Versace Eros. For day 96 of the challenge I went with a fragrance from the house of Haramain called Odyssey Homme White Edition. Now I've been saying this pretty regularly, but this fragrance, along with the black one, the original Odyssey, they kind of have a special place in my heart, because those were the first two fragrances that I ever reviewed on my channel. This is how I started my channel. For those of you who don't know what the Odyssey Homme White Edition is trying to do, basically this is a clone of the original Stronger with You fragrance, but Haramain have mixed things a little bit with this fragrance. They've added some parts of Paco Rabanne's Invictus in here as well. That adds a bit of freshness and a bit of let's call it bubblegummy sweetness to the otherwise a little bit darker and a little bit more sweet DNA of this Stronger with You line. It's a cheap fragrance with decent performance that's great for the cold weather. For day 97 of the challenge I went with one of my all-time favorite scents. It comes from the house of Thierry Mugler, and it's called, of course, Pure Havane. It's an absolutely fantastic creation from Thierry Mugler that unfortunately has been discontinued for quite a while now. It's a great mix of honey and tobacco, which are the two main players of this fragrance. Of course, you got some cacao, you got some amber, you got some vanilla, some patchouli, but the main players in this fragrance are the honey and tobacco mix. It's super dark, super dense, super sweet, great performer, great for cold weather, and all in all, as I said, one of my all-time favorite scents. I'm still cherishing that half of bottle that I have left of this fragrance, that for forever be a favorite of mine. And I really hope that some of the clone houses will come up with a nice clone of Pure Havane, because I think this DNA deserves to live on. And for day 98 of the challenge, which is today, I went with a fragrance that I'm loving more and more with each next wear that I'm giving it. It comes from the house of Haramain, and it's called Amber Oud Black Edition. Super, super fantastic fragrance. As I said, the more I wear this, the more I love it. You got some nice grapefruit in the opening of this fragrance that will sort of give you an idea that probably this is going to be a freshie, but that lasts for like 30 seconds. You also got some spices. You got nice cardamom note in here. The dry down is dominated by tobacco, leather and amber. It's super dark on the dry down, super sweet, very sexy, very dark scent. That's an absolute beast when it comes to performance. It lasts for over 10 hours on skin and lasts for days and days on clothes, so with great projection as well. All in all, a super, super fantastic release from the house of Haramain and their Amber Oud line, which I'm a big fan of. So guys, this was all for yet another episode of my fragrance challenge called 300 different scents in 300 days. In this episode, I covered days 92 to 98 of the challenge. I hope that you found this video interesting. If you did, give it a like, and I also hope that you're going to join me in my next video. And until then, stay safe and bye bye.